Okay, these are our notes for 1.1, integers and absolute value. Please title your notes. The first question we're asking ourselves is, what is an integer? So write down our vocabulary word of integer. And if you'd like, you can click here to watch a 4.5 minute video that I think you'll enjoy and give you a lot of information. But I'm going to skip that as we're going through the notes. So, what is an integer? An integer is a positive and negative number, and zero. Zero is neither positive or negative. It separates the positive numbers from the negative numbers. Remember that on a number line, when you are moving to the right on a number line, that the numbers are increasing. Okay. And on the flip side, when you're moving to the left, the numbers will be decreasing on the number line. Okay. So at any point in time, go ahead and press pause so you can finish writing down the notes. Integers are not three things. I only have two of them written down here, but we'll go ahead and add the third. Um, they are not fractions or decimals or the cousin of these two, the percents. Okay, those are all the numbers that are in between the integers on the number lines. Those belong to a different family, which we will learn about in the next chapter. So here we have 6 situations that could happen in real life, and I'm asking you, what integer would you use to represent the situation? So you're going to write your answers. You're going to write example 1 in your notes, label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Press pause and answer what integer you would use to represent these 6 scenarios. Press play when you're done. What you should have are these answers right here. To win $250 in a talent contest would be a positive 250. We don't have to put the plus sign there ever when it's positive. You can, but you don't have to. I dive 10 feet underwater. That is negative because it's underwater. A loss of 5 yards in football would be a negative 5 integer because it's a loss. A temperature increase of 12 degrees would be, oh, this one is wrong. It should be a plus 12. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. That should be a positive 12. Number 5 is withdraw $30 from the bank. That would be negative because we are withdrawing it from the bank. We're taking it out. Depositing $100 into the bank means putting in, so it is a positive integer of $100. Okay, next we're going to use this number line to compare the following integers using the greater than or less than symbols, which are given to you right here to help you remember. When these pop up, I want you to copy these down in your notes with the answer in there. Go ahead and press pause and do that, and we'll check our answers in just a moment. Press play when you're ready. And the answers are: negative 9 is less than 3 because here's 3 on the number line. Negative 9 is to the left of it, and we know going to the left means getting smaller. Here we have 6 is greater than negative 5. So 6 is to the right of negative 5, so we know that negative 6 is greater. And then negative 7 is greater than negative 14. Here is negative 7. Negative 14 is over here to the left of negative 10. And negative 7 is closer to 0, so therefore it is greater than negative 14. The next vocabulary word that we need to write down is absolute value. And you can go ahead and label the 4 bullet points, and we'll fill them in as we go. Absolute value is the distance from 0 on a number line. And remember to press pause if I'm going too fast so that you can copy this stuff down. The distance from 0 on the number line is what absolute value is. But the direction you're moving does not matter. If I say that Bob lives 5 blocks from school, whether it's north, south, east, or west, it doesn't matter. He lives 5 blocks from school. If Joe lives 2 blocks from school, again, it's 2 blocks. It doesn't matter the direction. So the same with absolute value. Direction does not matter. Absolute value is always positive. Always positive. So the symbol that you'll see in mathematics are these 2 vertical lines that surround a number. And that's another way of saying, give me the absolute value of a number. So here's 2 examples. What is the absolute value of 5? And what is the absolute value of negative 8? Just another way of saying, how far is 5 away from 0? And how far is negative 8 away from 0 on the number line. And the answer for both of these is that 5 is 5 spaces from 0 on the number line, and negative 8 is 8 spaces from 0 on the number line. Both positive because it's just about distance. Direction does not matter. So absolute value, distance from 0 on the number line, always going to be positive. So I'm going to do this first one with you, but I do want you to copy it, and you're going to complete this in just a minute. But for number 5, you should have it copied down by now. It's asking us to use greater than, less than, or equal to. So before you can answer that, you have to actually evaluate this, because this is a problem. What is the absolute value of negative 2? Well, the answer is 2. So is 2 greater than, less than, or equal to negative 1? Well, 2 is greater than negative 1, because this is not a value of negative 2. It's actually representing 2 spaces from 0. So go ahead and try these next 3, and on the next slide, we'll see our answers. Press pause and play when you're ready. Okay, so here are your answers. Negative 7 is less than the absolute value of 6 because that represents 6 spaces from 0. The absolute value of 10 is less than 11 because the absolute value of 10 is valued at 10 spaces. And 9 is equal to the absolute value of negative 9 because the negative 9 is 9 spaces from 0 on the number line. All right, and we have a couple more examples. This one is that Gary is scuba diving and is currently swimming at 8 feet below sea level. Then he sees a jellyfish closer to the surface, so he swims up 5 feet. After that, he thinks he sees Nemo, so he swims down 6 feet. What is his current position in relation to sea level? So here we have highlighted the important motions that Gary went in a number line. So on our next slide here, we see that Gary starts at negative 8 below sea level, and he goes up 5, and he ends up at negative 3. That would be 5 up. Then he goes down 6 from there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he ends up at negative 9. So what is his current position in relation to sea level? His current position is negative 9 feet. So same problem, but now I'm going to change the question. If Gary wants to keep track of his total exercise from start to finish, how many feet did he swim altogether? So he starts at 0 and he goes down to negative 8. I know it says he started here, but we know he had to swim down there. Then he goes up 5 feet and then down another 6 to end up here at negative 9. But to get his altogether that he swam, the total, we have to use the absolute value. So we have the absolute value of negative 8 plus the absolute value of the 5 plus the absolute value of going down 6. So we have 8 plus 5 plus 6, and we get a total that he swam 19 total feet. Okay. We have this one here that asks us to order these numbers from least to greatest. So go ahead and take a moment to evaluate any of these that you think you need to. Press play when you're ready. Here are the numbers after we evaluate them. Okay, now it didn't ask us to order these numbers in purple from least to greatest. It asked us to order these numbers in black from least to greatest. So our answer from least to greatest is negative 1, the absolute value of 2, the absolute value of negative 3, and the absolute value of negative 5, and then 7. We have to use these given numbers whenever ordering from least to greatest. We use what we know about their absolute values to help put them in the correct order, but when we order them from least to greatest, we have to make sure we use the given numbers or the originals. Okay, so the ones in the black. Last two questions. The freezing point is the temperature at which a liquid becomes a solid. We have 5 substances here and their freezing points. Which substance in the table has the lowest freezing point? So the lowest would be in the negatives. So which one is furthest away from 0 all the way in the negatives? And the answer would be that airplane fuel has the lowest freezing point because it's further away from 0. If here's 0, it's the furthest away on the left. Okay. Then we have the second question. Is the freezing point of mercury at negative 39 degrees or butter at positive 35 degrees, closer to the freezing point of water, which would be 0. So which one of these is closer to 0? And the answer would be 35, or butter, because it's only 35 spaces from 0, whereas negative 39 is 39 spaces from 0. So we take those absolute values and we see which one is closer to that of water, which is 0. So as we were going, hopefully you wrote down any questions that you had, and we can go over them next time that we meet on our Google Meet.